fight wasn't over yet. Thomas came back, even angrier than before. Jinwoo pushed the hurt Dongsu away and called out for Kaisel and Igris. A dark shape grew, and the winged dragon and knight appeared. Jinwoo gently lifted Jinyo, and gave him to Igris. Take Jinyo to the nearest hospital. Make sure you do everything you can to help him. Igris nodded to Jinwoo, climbed onto the winged dragon, and flew away from the factory. The dragon roared loudly. Thomas didn't even notice it flying away. He was only thinking about Jinwoo. Jinwoo looked at Thomas and saw how angry his face was. He also saw the members of Thomas's group running to stand with him. There were about 100 hunters, and Jinwoo thought Thomas had brought all the best from the Scavenger Guild, which was the most famous guild around. So, what? Jinwoo had plenty of fighters too. He called forth the shadow soldiers who were waiting for his command. Darkness spread from the ground as the shadow soldiers jumped out, one after another. Thomas was completely surprised by the sight of them. There were thousands of them filling the old empty factory right to the very back. Thomas squinted his eyes. It wasn't just how many there were. He noticed some of them were as strong as the best hunters, including a warrior with a huge shield, a magic user wearing a hooded cloak, and even very large giants at the back of the group. He wasn't sure if the Scavenger Guild could win, even if they tried their hardest. Jinwoo's amazing helpers made Thomas feel scared, but also excited. The idea of fighting such strong creatures sounded fun. He smiled and licked his lips. This wasn't about Dongsu anymore. He only thought about fixing how much he felt embarrassed. He wanted to punish the person who had upset him, but first he gave Jinwoo a chance to apologize. If you admit you were wrong and give up, I will let you live. Jinwoo showed him a rude gesture instead. Thomas clenched his teeth, feeling angry. You dare? The skilled hunter quickly took off his shirt, made from special materials from magical creatures. Crack. Pop. His muscles grew bigger, and then became hard, like armor all over his body. A strong and scary power rose up from under Thomas's feet. His strong magical energy looked like golden mist coming from his shoulders. He was the most powerful warrior anyone had ever seen. After watching him change, Jinwoo used his own magic. Whoosh! Everyone was amazed by the sight of these two powerful fighters. I was wondering who could defeat Thomas, someone said. All the hunters looked at the same thing with surprise. Jinwoo's song was famous for defeating giant creatures in Japan. Everyone thought he was the best person to deal with Thomas. The members of the Scavenger Guild were amazed when they saw him. Jinwoo, however, stayed calm and relaxed. This was a great chance to see how much stronger he had become. He could use all of his abilities against his enemies without being afraid. Jinwoo suddenly remembered something Kamish had said. There are 4 people who have special powers from the rulers, aren't there? Maybe Kamish was talking about 4 of the 5 top hunters who were still fighting after the battle with the dragon. If that was true, Thomas could be one of those people. Jinwoo gave the signal. Go. As soon as their leader said the word, the soldiers rushed forward. Thomas shouted, They're coming. It was one person against a whole group, almost 1,000 weaker fighters, and about 100 strong hunters crashed together. Boom! Thomas pushed Iron to the side, ran past the front line, and looked for Jinwoo. Someone rushed toward him very quickly. There. Thomas turned around, but Jinwoo was even faster. In a moment, Jinwoo was right next to Thomas, and tried to stab him in the side with a dagger. But the dagger could not pierce Thomas's tough skin. Jinwoo was surprised. Thomas smiled, and quickly hit Jinwoo with his elbow. Thomas's opponent was faster, but Thomas believed his defenses were too strong to break. He thought the other hunter would be upset when he realized how much stronger Thomas was. Thomas expected to win, so he kept attacking and reached out his hand. Whoosh! Thomas used a special power to pull his opponent closer, like an invisible force was grabbing him. It was the same power Thomas had used to pull Kamish down from the air. As Thomas quickly moved towards Jinwoo, Jinwoo's eyes grew wide. Ruler's authority. Boom! Thomas's shoulders felt a strong force pushing down on him. What? Thomas was surprised to find that Jinwoo had the same power. Taking his chance, Jinwoo punched Thomas in the face again. Pow! For the first time since becoming a hunter, the man called Goliath started to bleed. Ouch! The Hunter Command Center was not just standing around, they were already taking action. Many cars full of hunters were going the same way as the Scavenger Guild hunters. But the first car stopped before it got to where they were going. Adam had been looking out the window and feeling worried when the car stopped so quickly. What happened? The driver asked, looking back at him. He was the best agent working at the Hunter Command Center. Agent White, please tell me what is happening. There isn't much time to explain. Adam stopped when he looked at the driver's face. The driver had experienced many difficult things and was usually very strong, but Adam had never seen him look so scared before. Adam realized the situation was very serious. Did something happen? The top hunter said strongly. If we keep going we will die. Jinwoo punched Thomas in the lip. Thomas was surprised and fell backward. How does he have so much power? It was a very strong hit. Strong enough to shake Thomas's head. Also Jinwoo could move things with his mind. But he didn't fight being pulled toward Thomas. Instead, he used the situation to trick Thomas so he could deliver a strong punch. Thomas's own skill was used against him, making the punch even more powerful. It was a really smart plan. How many fights did it take him to think of something like that? Thomas had thought of Jinwoo as new to fighting, but this changed his opinion. Thomas landed safely on the ground. The force scraped against the floor, creating dust, and sending bits of cement flying. Jinwoo quickly attacked his opponent, not giving him a chance to rest. The experienced hunter wanted to attack before Thomas could figure out what was happening. But Thomas was quicker this time. Thomas understood that if he kept being careful he might lose, so he decided to take a risk. Enforcement. Thomas's strong muscles grew even bigger. Whoosh. He had already been almost 7 feet tall, but Thomas now became much taller, easily over 9 feet. Raza, he yelled as he quickly raised his arms, which were now as thick as stone pillars, above his head. Jinwoo felt something was wrong as he got closer. He didn't know what was happening, but he always trusted his gut feeling when something was wrong. He stopped quickly and jumped back, just in time. Thomas's huge hands hit the floor hard, sending out a powerful wave of energy. Boom! Everything nearby broke into many pieces. The amazing strength of a special ability called Demolish made Jinwoo step back. Even though he was already far away, broken pieces of stuff fell down like rain. Thomas was a dragon fighter, so he was incredibly strong, and could break things easily. But Jinwoo didn't have time to be surprised. Capture! Thomas shouted right away. He became the center of a strong pull, drawing everything toward him with great force, like a black hole. Both shadow soldiers and hunters were pulled toward the big hunter. Jinwoo fought back using his special ability. He quickly escaped the strong pull and jumped back again. Thomas attacked with another powerful blast. Boom! Everyone, both those fighting for and against him, was knocked back by the force of the explosion. People shouted in pain and surprise. The second in command of the hunters yelled at his team, "Move away from the leader," while some of the fastest hunters helped the injured to safety. Thomas ran toward Jinwoo, looking very angry. Thomas was very powerful, like a ruler of a country, so Jinwoo needed to face consequences for disrespecting someone so important. Thomas quickly moved toward Jinwoo, ready to strike. He threw a punch, but it just missed. Thomas hadn't really expected to hit him. Jinwoo was too quick, moving like a wild animal, and Thomas wasn't fast enough to land a hit, especially because he was using a special power to boost his strength. Thomas became stronger and better at defending himself, but he wasn't as fast as before. Luckily Thomas had a special ability that helped with this. He reached out his hand toward Jinwoo. Grab. A strong pulling force appeared between the two hunters again. Thomas believed he would definitely succeed this time. He wouldn't let Jinwoo trick him again, especially now that he felt stronger. Just like before, Jinwoo moved toward him easily. Thomas clenched his right fist, pulling it back, and used his skill power smash with his left hand. It was a powerful attack that could defeat even a very strong hunter. Thomas watched as Jinwoo's right arm started to move forward, seeming very slow. He was surprised to see the muscles in Jinwoo's arm get bigger. Did Jinwoo want to fight him directly? Thomas looked shocked and increased the gravity. Still, Jinwoo didn't move away. Instead he used his special ability to speed up. Thomas yelled in frustration. Oh no. Jinwoo came much faster than Thomas thought he would. Thomas threw a punch first, but Jinwoo bent down to avoid it, and then punched back. Bang! The punch hit Thomas, and a bright light flashed before his eyes. This hit felt just like the first one. Bang! Thomas flew backward like a rocket, and crashed through the walls of the factory again, leaving a long deep mark where he went. Ouch! As Thomas quickly stood up, he saw Jinwoo already standing right in front of him. Thomas shouted and swung his fist again. Raise it. Each time he swung, the attack made a hole in the ground. His strikes were so strong, they could seriously injure someone without even touching them. But Jinwoo dodged each attack and fought back, hitting Thomas where he was weakest.
Pow! Bam! Pow!
Blood started to fill Thomas's mouth. Ugh! How could a mage hunter be this strong and fast? As Thomas became more confused, the more hurt he became. Thomas Andre was going to lose. That shouldn't have been possible. No, it was impossible. Being able to defeat his enemies was what made him strong. He clenched his teeth, which were covered in blood. There was wildness in his angry eyes. Gross! Jinwoo moved quickly and hit Thomas on the chin. Crash! The American shook his head hard to stay awake, but Jinwoo was right in front of him, attacking again and again. Bang! 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 Ouch! Thomas, who was strong and tough, started to fall over. He tripped, but quickly regained his balance and started yelling. I am Thomas Andre. Do you really think you can defeat me? I already told you, bam. Jinwoo punched him in the chin. Thomas stopped his head from snapping back completely. Very angry, the man called Goliath lifted his hands high. Destroy. Boom. Thomas slammed into the ground with all his strength, making the earth shake. But Jinwoo had disappeared. Where did he go? Thomas looked around quickly, then finally noticed a powerful magical energy above him. He looked up. Jinwoo jumped forward just as the powerful attack began and was now falling quickly. Jinwoo's elbow hit Thomas's face with a loud sound. Many cars stopped far away from the old factory. It wasn't safe to get any closer. The people getting out of the vehicles were the best hunters from the Hunter Command Center. They were all very skilled. Even with such amazing teammates, Adam was still worried. They might have to fight Jinwoo Sung, Thomas Andre and all the members of the Scavenger Guild. Brent, a top-level hunter, was in charge of the Hunter Command Center's forces. He shook his head and looked worried. Wow! What kind of creatures were making so much magical energy? Brent didn't want to continue, but Adam was waiting behind him, eager to see what was ahead. Brent gave in with a sigh. It's just up ahead, but it looks very dangerous. Are you sure about this? Adam nodded. Suddenly something shot up into the sky and crashed back down.
What was that?
Adam looked toward the sound and then at Brent. The strong hunter's mouth dropped open. What just happened? I think he didn't want to believe it, but the hunter paused before speaking. I think that was Mr. Andre. What? But I'm not certain. Adam was very scared and rushed forward. Quickly, let's go. Brent signaled to the other hunters to follow as he ran after Adam. They reached where the crash happened. Oh my! A hunter from Asia was fighting Thomas Andre. Punch, boom, crash. Brent was surprised and pointed at the two of them. Mr. Andre was being badly beaten by Hunter Sung. I can see that, Adam said. He didn't know what to do. He could see from where they were standing that Thomas didn't look well. Brent was worried. What should we do? He asked. We need to stop them. Are you going to let a skilled hunter be seriously hurt? Adam asked. Stop who? Brent replied. Stop him. Brent looked at the hunter from Asia, who was giving off so much magical energy that Brent didn't want to get near. But Adam ran toward them before Brent could stop him. Adam was a regular agent, and could be seriously hurt, or even die just by being near strong magical energy from powerful hunters. Brent paused for a moment, then followed with a sound of discomfort. Agent White, an elbow hit Thomas in the head, and he fell to his hands and knees. His hands gripped the ground tightly. Ouch, ash, hoss. Thomas tried to stand, but he felt very weak. His punches didn't have as much power as before. Thomas was moving slowly, so Jinwoo knew he was winning. The American fighter kept missing, and his punches weren't very strong. He only seemed angry now. Jinwoo easily stepped away from Thomas's attacks and started hitting back. He punched and kicked. Unlike Thomas, Jinwoo still had plenty of energy, and was fighting hard. Thomas was overwhelmed by the attacks. He groaned and blood flew everywhere, as he was hit repeatedly. He lost his footing and stumbled. Then Jinwoo kicked him upward. A loud crash followed as magic collided, sending Thomas flying high into the air. Jinwoo then brought Thomas back down to the ground. He fell to the ground with a thud. Ugh. Cough. Thomas landed hard in the dirt, and coughed up blood. Jinwoo climbed on top of Thomas, and began to punch him repeatedly, just like he had fought the demon monarch Balan in the demon's castle. Boom. Boom. Jinwoo could feel Thomas getting weaker and weaker. Boom. 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 Jinwoo lifted his fist to deliver the final hit. A cry of desperation echoed out. Hunter sung. Stop. Please stop. Jinwoo looked at Adam as he ran toward them. He got ready to punch again. A lot of powerful energy came from his shoulder and fist. No. Stop. Adam tried to reach out to stop him, but it was too late. Jinwoo's fist was just about to hit Thomas when Thomas spoke. I've lost. Whoosh! Jinwoo's fist stopped right in front of Thomas's nose. The strong hunter passed out, and fell limp, completely exhausted. Jinwoo dropped his hand and stood still. The best hunters from the Hunter Command Center slowly came around him, and the hunter who had fallen. What is going on? Is this really happening? The reporter said to himself as he kept taking pictures. He had meant to take photos of the scavenger guild getting ready for an attack, but they suddenly called it off and went somewhere else. He followed them, wanting to know why, but what had just happened was unbelievable. At first the reporter thought prisoners had escaped, but what he saw was even more surprising. He used his camera to get a closer look at the man on the ground. It was definitely Thomas Andre, a famous hunter. Oh my goodness. How could anyone hurt Thomas so badly? The reporter was shocked as he looked at the pictures he had taken. He was also really excited about how much money he could get for them. Adam quickly ran to check if Thomas was okay. Boom, boom, boom. He listened to Thomas's chest, and could hear a heartbeat. He gently checked for Thomas's breath. Luckily Thomas was still alive, but he was very weak. To cause this much harm to Thomas, how many skilled hunters could do something like this? If people found out about this, it would cause a huge problem for everyone. Adam really admired Jinwoo's strength. It was much more than anyone at the Hunter Command Center thought. But now wasn't the time to be amazed. Quick, he said, waving to the healers from the Hunter Command Center. One of the best healers knelt next to Thomas and checked how he was doing before using healing magic. He made a frustrated sound. Every bone in Thomas's body was broken, and he was losing a lot of blood. He needed help. I can't fix this by myself. We need all the healers to work together now. Other healers quickly came to help Thomas, but it felt like they were trying to fill a huge lake with just a small faucet. Thomas was very strong, so it took a lot of work to help him recover. The doctors and nurses were trying their best to help him after his injuries. Adam stood up while the others at the Hunter Command Center helped the injured people out of the old factory. Ouch, my leg. The skilled hunters from Scavenger were badly hurt. Adam didn't see who caused all this trouble, but he had a strong idea. One hunter had just defeated a very powerful group. It was amazing. Adam was surprised by how brave and strong this hunter was. Wait a minute. Adam realized Jinwoo was gone. He couldn't see him anywhere. Adam looked around carefully when he heard his phone ring. This is Agent White. Agent White, we found Gino Yu. It was the Hunter Command Center calling with an update. Adam felt much better hearing the good news. Really, where is he? The person on the phone told him Gino was found near a big hospital. He received quick care at the hospital and was doing okay now. I'll be there as soon as I clean up this mess. Okay. Adam ended the phone call and let out a breath. He felt much better. Thinking about how upset Jinwoo would be if anything had happened to Jinwoo made Adam worried. Spilled water can't be put back in the cup. He was glad at least the cup didn't break when it fell. This good news made him feel a little better. We're finished, the doctors treating Thomas said as they stood up. Is Hunter Andre all right? Adam asked. For now, one of them replied. What does that mean? Adam pressed. He was very badly hurt, so while his body is healing, it will take time for him to wake up. Oh, I understand. The doctors had fixed his injuries, but healing his mind would be much harder. Thomas would be in the hospital for a long time to get better. After what happened? A doctor tried to cheer up the worried agent. He survived because he is Thomas Andre, a very skilled hunter. Anyone else would not have lived through injuries this bad. Well, that's good. Adam started to say he agreed with the doctor, but he stopped. Thomas was still alive because he was a really good hunter. Adam felt a shiver go down his back. What had happened to Dong-Soo Hong, the person Jinwoo was originally angry with? Was he also here? Adam was shocked and quickly ran into the old factory where injured hunters were still being helped out. Someone shouted to him. Agent White. Over here. Adam ran toward the voice, trying not to panic. A serious hunter from the Hunter Command Center was standing next to someone. Adam knew. Adam sighed. Dong-Soo Hong. The other hunter looked at Adam. He's not breathing. His heart stopped beating. This can't be a joke or a mistake. The top editor of the most popular newspaper on the East Coast was very upset to be up so late at night because of a phone call from a reporter. He usually wouldn't bother helping someone who worked on their own. But this time he decided to make an exception after talking to the reporter on the phone. If the reporter's information turned out to be false though, he would make sure the reporter faced serious consequences, and went to jail. He was really annoyed about having to change out of his pajamas. Seeing the editor look doubtful, the reporter waved his hands. It's all true, I'm telling you. It really happened. Aren't you all about reporting the truth? Well, so how much money can I get for this story? I need to see the pictures first. As if he was worried someone might see, the reporter carefully looked around before taking some photos out of his bag.